about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Jaime Knight. I'm a graduate student in the printmaking department at the University of Iowa. And I moved here from California, where I'd lived for the last 15 years, and I was teaching high school art, printmaking, sculpture. I guess in response to the first question about finding new ways to relate to the world through art making, I really found that during my teaching practice that it was really powerful for students to come to different kinds of understanding of the world through a creative process. And if there's a theory that we understand the world through metaphor, through using metaphor to make connections through cognitive categorization. And art making is basically playing with metaphors, taking two different concepts and putting them together to form a new concept. So that's sort of my interest in the potential for art to, I guess, allow people to not just experience creativity in this way that is very fulfilling, but also as a way to understand and to really see concretely how you can actively change the world, because you're making something out of nothing. So I think that that's a really powerful part of art making.
What is your involvement in the Derrick Project?
I came to the Derrick Project through the Art Share office here at the university, and they just sent out a mass email. I guess to just the graduate students. I'm not totally sure, but because I'd been a teacher and I just liked the sound of the project, I went ahead and emailed the woman who was that sent out the email and sort of talked about my background as a teacher, and they chose me as a participant. And it's been a really interesting process because we're working with people from the theater department, from the dance department, from the School of Visual Arts, and it's been pretty loose and pretty generative, though, and I think that all of us have seen sort of potential for different ways to not just approach this particular kind of project of like working with a poem, but also to approach our own practice sort of through the lens of the other disciplines that we're working on.
And have you done any art at all based on any of her poems? Or?
I haven't. That's generally, that's not really the way that I work in my own practice. I think I would say there's a question here about what kind of poetry do I like or that inspires me, and I'm more of like a classics person, and I think if I think about it, the only poem that I've ever sort of worked with is a Goethe poem called Ganymede. That's sort of just it's about spring, really, that's what it's about. And the book, though, of the poet Trey, can you help me with the pronunciation?
Oh, Trethewey?
Trethewey, yeah, Trethewey. It's been really inspiring, and we worked with one poem in the workshop that we did last weekend called What the Body Can Say, and I think that was it was a good entrance into working in that way for me, and just thinking about, to me, poems, literature, visual art, dance, it's all sort of part of the same thing, that's all art practice. And so while poets create metaphor with words, visual artists just create metaphor with visual elements, so I think they're really similar. Where did I go to college? Okay, I went to college for my undergrad at the University of New Mexico. I grew up in Albuquerque, and I studied printmaking and sculpture there, and I moved to San Francisco, and I got my degree in art education from San Francisco State University. And that was about 10 years ago. And I taught for 7 of those 10 years at Berkeley High School, and found that I wasn't able to practice as an artist as much as I would like to teaching in a traditional high school setting, and so I decided to come back and get my MFA. So if I decide that I want to go back to teaching, I have the option to teach at the university. Is that enough?
Yeah.